let's get at it.
Got him. Got it. Fetch it up. Fetch it up.
Welcome back to American Arms Channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Drake. Today we're taking a look at the Super Black Eagle 3 in 28 gauge once again. Now, this video won't really have a lot of shooting in it. It's not a hunting video, but I did want to provide an update on the Super Black Eagle 3 in 28 gauge. We're just going to call it the SBE 3 28. And so this 28 has been, for lack of words, exceptional. I really have enjoyed shooting and hunting with this firearm over the course of the end of the summer as well as through the month of September, and it is currently the end of September. So I've gotten a few chances to go out after doves and teal with this shotgun. I've taken plenty of starlings and some collared Eurasian doves with it as well. I have made some exceptional shots with it. It seems to pattern exceptionally well, and all in all, it's just a fantastic 28 gauge hunting piece. Is it going to win any beauty competitions being completely synthetic and either in duck blind style camo or black synthetic? No, but in form and function, it's gorgeous. I'm really in love with it. I really like the Super Black Eagle 3 anyway, so I wasn't expecting anything really different. This is just honestly a petite version of the Super Black Eagle 3. And for me, owning the 28 gauge version, especially with the 3-inch chamber, and for the purposes that I have for smaller bore shotguns, I don't see a lot of reason to get the 20. I think if you're looking for a small bore Benelli, and you're considering the Super Black Eagle line, that you just need to decide which gauge you want to go with, whether it's 20 or 28, and you'll pretty much be able to do anything you want to with them. Honestly, I'd recommend having the 26-inch barreled version like this. I feel that most 28 gauge shotguns are going to be much handier and feel a lot more nimble, as they should. And also just look a little bit better with a 26-inch barrel. So that would be my recommendation, but if all you can get is a 28-inch, don't fret, you'll get used to it quick and it will serve you very well. The only upgrades I've done in this entire time, which has been the last several months, and 600 plus rounds, I think I'm past 610 or 620 at this point, with all sporting clay sessions, target shooting, patterning, hunting, etc. taken into consideration. you know, we're looking at 100% reliability, period. Now, I am going to say that I have had a few malfunctions, and that was because of aftermarket parts that I put into this gun, particularly the only two I've done, the bolt handle and the Briley extended bolt release latch. This latch assembly did not come pre-fit. You do have to fit them to your shotgun, at least that was my experience. And of course, if you send your shotgun into Briley and are having that installed, they'll fit that for you. It really does take care of the small bolt release issue, and this larger bolt handle also make things great. No issues from the bolt handle, of course, but that shell stop release, I had about 25 rounds of playing around with it, getting it tuned in, figuring out exactly what needed to happen, and then comparing it to the factory shell stop latch tab. And once they were a perfect match, and this was polished and tuned correctly, 100% reliability resumed. So I'm going to take those rounds away. And so out of about 580 or so rounds, you've seen 100% reliability, or excuse me, I've seen 100% reliability out of this shotgun, which is really saying something. There's no break-in period. There's no, you know, mulligan period where, hey, you know, whatever. It's shooting Magnum loads. It's shooting standard target and field loads very, very well. I've not ran a steady diet of 3-inch loads through it. I just haven't had the necessity to, nor have I wanted to take on the expense currently to try and source a ton of 3-inch loads and fire them. But we do have several Boss 3-inch loads. Some of them you've seen if you've watched the previous, the 3.5 mix and the number 4. I also picked up 2 boxes, so 40 rounds of the Boss 1-ounce number 3 shot for pretty much dedicated goose load. And I may try to load myself up some 1 ounce or 1 1/8 ounce 3-inch number 2 shot at some point for a real goose stomper, quote unquote, out of the 28 gauge. But honestly, it's been a fantastic shotgun. I've done nothing to it, to be honest. Just the bolt handle and the extended bolt release. I think that the stainless look of those two components against the black looks exceptional. The durability of the vent rib here, the carbon fiber, is good. I've put 1 nick on it, but it took a serious dive and to take that nick. There's been no additional looseness, no cracking, no problems. And the patterning has on game and on paper been exceptional. I will do a patterning video with it. At some point we'll do some pattern samples with all the Boss loads I have, and some lead loads potentially, just taking a look at it. I will say though, the modified choke provides an improved modified style pattern, and I've not patterned anything else besides improved cylinder and modified. And improved cylinder patterns about improved cylinder, maybe light modified with like the bismuth pellets. So I really have been enjoying it. I've made some incredible shots and do have witnesses, and this isn't to brag, it's just with a 28 gauge running 3/4 ounce of number 8s, you know, number 8s will reliably kill and down doves all the way out to 45 plus yards, in my experience, in the 12 gauge as well as 16 gauge and 20 gauge. So it's not really an energy problem with the pellets, especially when you get into number 7.5s and 7 shot in lead, but it's more so a pattern density issue. And multiple times, especially a couple times in the same hunting session, I was able to take doves overhead and crossing at 35, 40, and even 50 plus yards, confirming that with 2 additional witnesses with this gun, and not just, you know, hitting them with a stray pellet, but multiple pellet strikes, downing them. And the reason I say that is because there have been a couple accounts of this particular shotgun and choke system providing exceptional patterns. And so, you know, it was a point of contention with things like the Browning A5 having chokes that were not, especially the Sweet 16 version at one time, not labeled appropriate to what they actually performed as, and aftermarket chokes being a better option in total for that gun. So those were not marked accordingly. And this is kind of a similar situation where it seems these chokes pattern a lot tighter or slightly tighter than what they're labeled as. So My dove season load this year has been the Fiocchi VIP Heavy, which is 2 3/4 inch, 3/4 ounce, 1300 foot per second load. It is a very, very standard 28 gauge field load and sporting load. And so it's not been like I've been using anything special. I've also utilized Winchester AA's in 7.5 and 8s. I've utilized Federal Blue Box in 7.5s and 8s, and some Winchester AA's in number 9s, all spec'd out at 3/4 ounce at 1300 foot per second. I have used 3/4 ounce Fiocchi field, spec'd at 1300, but actually chronoed at 1410 out of both this gun and the Mossberg SA-28. So it's handled everything with class. It's handled everything exceptionally. It is very, very reliable. I can typically hold it just firmly and fire it from the hip or even one-handed, and it will cycle reliably. Just a really great, super slick and smooth shotgun. I very, very much enjoyed it. The one thing I can criticize it for overall is it kind of has a mushy trigger. It's kind of, I thought maybe it would break in a little bit and feel better, but there is some take up and it's wiggly, and then it can break, you know, it's a lot of travel. So if you're not thinking about it and you're snapping and shooting, it's perfectly fine. But if you're thinking about it at all, I know I flinched a little bit at one point and shot under a couple birds because, I don't know, I was tired, I jerked, I had a muscle spasm, I'm a wuss, I don't know. You know, I pulled the gun up and felt it dip, and part of the gun not going off in time also caused me to dip further because that trigger is a lot heavier than some of my other firearms. And when you're mixing wing shooting with precision rifle shooting with an AR that's got a 3-pound trigger in it, and with a 10 gauge that you have a personal trigger tuned to, you know, 2.5 pounds, super crisp, no take up break, it's different, right? It's a little bit mushier. It's totally field serviceable, but it is not, I would say, Benelli's best effort. And you know, my 12 gauge SBE 3 kind of has a similar issue, if you want to call it that. But safety is exceptional. I mean, my 2 upgrades here cost me approximately $150 after shipping. So, you know, and I put this on my 12 gauge as well. It's an exceptionally large paddle. It is very nice. Your bolt handle does not run into your hand because it is larger. So as long as you're not putting your hand like this, if you're just hitting it with your 4 fingers or getting your finger on, or you're slapping it with your palm, it's just sending the bolt home. So it's a really, really nice setup. I think another point of criticism is, like all Benelli shotguns that are not their best treatment or camo dipped, the barrel, the steel parts on the gun will rust if you expose them to moisture and dirt and do not wipe it down. But the nice thing is they pick up a rather nice patina. My Vinci has a decent patina, kind of looks rough and ready and well worn, but it's not going to affect the performance of the shotgun. This shotgun in synthetic black is honestly a great candidate for Duracoat or Cerakote finishes, so I may do that at some point. But other than that, I am just yammering on. I don't know what to say, guys, other than exceptional reliability. We'll see how it does as we go through duck season. This is going to be my early season gun. I might take it out for some late season hunts. It depends on how good duck season goes for us here in Nebraska. But this is 100% one of my favorite shotguns to take out in the field right now. Just really, really enjoying it. The price tag is what the price tag is, unfortunately, at this time. But if you're considering this and you're waiting for more to come into the country, or you see one on a gun store shelf and you're wondering whether or not this is the 28 gauge for you, if you're thinking about getting something in the Benelli class, this is an excellent contender and I highly recommend it. As always, guys, if you have any comments or questions, you can post them in the comment section below, or you can email me at AmericanArmsChannel@gmail.com. I greatly appreciate your support and viewership. And as always, guys, God bless. Keep your powder dry. I'll see you in the next video.